I have been in the indoor hospitality industry for now since 2015. I've taken that skill set and I'm correlating that to the outdoor hospitality industry, which is RV parks. Owner finance their property or subject to it if the circumstances are right. There has been residential real estate that has sold for income approach, but it's very rare, right? But with commercial real estate, it's different. You have super important to have a very unique product. So I didn't have to get any bank involved. I didn't have to use my credit. I didn't have to use my credentials. I didn't have to go to the bank and say, hey, what do you need from me? Nothing. Bro, if you guys haven't been and you live in Orlando, come to Mecatos. Food is amazing. My God, I don't ever eat out. I'm very rarely, mostly eat at home. I mostly eat at home and godly. Go out every once in a while. This place right around the corner from my house. I got me an arepa with eggs, tomato, cheese, and some onion. Woohoo! So the question you asked me was, what got me into RV park investing?
Make sure the mic is like almost like towards like your on the collar. But, yeah. Okay, good. All right.
So the reason why I got into RV park investing is because I've been in the hospitality space since 2015, right?
Yeah.
Airbnb, have you ever heard of Airbnb?
Yeah.
Okay, so I own an Airbnb portfolio and I've been doing indoor hospitality through Airbnb, right? Using their marketplace to showcase my properties, right? And to get customers.
Okay.
Well, I've gotten to a point in my investing career to where I'm tapped out on the single family home side. So everything that you've been seeing me walk through with you, everything that you've been filming with me, those are all single family homes. And the challenge there is doing single family as a real estate investor, it's only so scalable, right? And what I'm looking for in my portfolio is density and efficiency, right? So I want density to meaning like I want a lot of units in one spot versus having one single family in Orlando, one in Tampa, one in Melbourne, one in Palm Coast. Like they're so far spread out, right? And then I also want to invest more efficiently versus me invest into one single family here, one single family there, one single family there, right?
Yeah.
So being that I have been in the indoor hospitality industry for now since 2015, I've taken that skill set and I'm correlating that to the outdoor hospitality industry, which is RV parks. So I understand how important it is to have uniqueness in the product that you deliver to the consumer, right? So for instance, yeah, there's a lot of RV parks out there, but what separates you from the other RV parks? Same thing with Airbnbs, right? There's a lot of Airbnbs out there, but what separates you from the other Airbnbs? So when you're in this type of industry and this type of market, it's super important to have a very unique product. That way you can deliver something special to that consumer, right? So the RV park that I'm taking down is 54 sites. So I only buy value add creative finance RV parks. And what that means is I don't use banks when I acquire my real estate. Years and years ago, I used to use banks. I used to have the broken mindset of using banks. Remember I told you that? We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna repeat it because it's probably still a little bit gibberish for you. So basically what I do is I go out there and I find what we call tired landlords. And these individuals have been running their business day to day, typically, and they might have a property manager and they're ready to exit the business. And those are the individuals I go after because these are individuals they're wanting to get out of the business. So this park that I acquired is $2.6 million. And the landlord, the owner, operator, and developer, he developed the park. He's ready to exit the business and move on to his next business venture, right? And so the park that I'm buying is $2.6 million, but I'm buying it creative finance. And so what does that mean? He's gonna hold a portion of the note back at $1,084,000. I'm going to subject to the underlying loan of I'm going to subject to the underlying loan of $316,000. That $316,000 is staying in place. We're not going to pay that off or anything. It's at 2.75 interest rate. The $1,084,000 that he's holding, right, the note for, I'm going to make him payments on the $1,084,000 every single month. We're actually doing interest only for 7 years, and then I'm going to balloon them out, right? Meaning I'm going to pay the whole entire amount of $1,084,000 in 7 years. The additional money is going to be the down payment money that we're giving to the seller, right? So I didn't have to get any bank involved. I didn't have to use my credit. I didn't have to use my credentials. I didn't have to go to the bank and say, hey, what do you need from me? Nothing. There are hundreds of these deals happening every single month, if not thousands, across the nation. And I used to have that broken mindset of I need to get bank financing in order to secure a real estate deal. But that's absolutely not true. There's actually a lot of individuals out there who will let you owner finance their property, right? Or subject to it if the circumstances are right. We always want to make sure it's a win-win situation. So there's 54 sites there, and I only buy value add. And what that means is I can come into this park, and let's say that there's 54 sites, I'm going to add another 30, right? Another 30 is going to put me at 84. That's going to put a lot more revenue to that bottom line. But that's just one thing on the value add, right? So when I'm looking at these parks, I'm looking at, can I expand the parks? Are there amenities that are missing? Is it not being operated the right way, right? A lot of these mom and pop places aren't operated the right way, right? They don't have, they either are not managing the property right, or they don't have any revenue management, or they're not marketing it right. Well, for instance, this owner is doing zero marketing. Like he's doing a lot of revenue for zero marketing, but he's doing zero marketing. That's a value add. Me adding another 30 units, pads is a value add. Me adding kayak rentals is a value add. Me adding a couple more days, because there's a 250,000 gallon pool there. I'm going to open it up from, it's only open 2 months out of the year. I'm going to open it up for 5 months out of the year. That's a value add. All these little things are value adds and will add more revenue to the bottom line. So when I'm looking at when I'm looking for properties, for instance, if this park had all those things in place already, typically it wouldn't be in my buy box. I wouldn't be buying it, because I only want to buy value add where there's room for me to force appreciate the asset. Me to be able to put things into it to force appreciate it, because with commercial, the NOI, which is the net operating income after everything is paid, the higher that number is, the more the evaluation of the property is. So that's the cool thing about commercial. With residential, these properties that you've been walking through with me, the challenge there is they're all businesses. So I have all these micro businesses in single family, right? Yeah. Because I have Airbnbs, I got co-living. You also got like that, it's like that 4-bedroom, like all in one house. Right, correct. But the challenge there is, even though that these are micro little businesses in different markets, when I go to sell the property, I have to sell in the comparable approach. Meaning, if Bob up the road, who's got a 3-2, sold his property for, let's say, $300,000, right? And it's a like kind property like mine, same neighborhood, same bed bath count, same everything, same lot, same year built. I'm now subjective to selling for $300,000 because it's a comparable. So in residential real estate, you have to sell on a comparable approach, right? Now, there has been residential real estate that has sold for income approach, but it's very rare, right? But with commercial real estate, it's different. You have a piece of commercial, you have this building right here, right? You have this big old building. This big old building right here, the more the NOI is, which is the net operating income, the higher that number, meaning after you pay all your expenses, your employees, your materials, whatever it costs to run the business, after you've paid every single thing, that NOI is what is where you get the value for this property at, right? So this is based on NOI, the income. That's the evaluation of this property, this building. With residential real estate, it's based on comparables. Let's see what that is. It looks awesome.
All right. So First of all, they should definitely check out, all the Dallas content. So if you
Oh
heard
yeah.
about the RB content, please check it out because that was a unique experience for him and he did an awesome job. So I found he told me that basically that you shouldn't rely on banks to be like making the working with these real estates or even like making those investments. What makes mortgages in this time of month or year, like or this like generation now, like difficult, knowing basically that it was used in a way to basically buy property, but now it's kind of like
It's
there's finding more ways to find
to
different
me
opportunities. So what makes mortgages kind of like fell off
to
into
me
becoming?
to me, if you're still using bank loans to acquire real estate, that's a broken method. Like to me, you just don't know what you don't know. That means you don't have the right tools in your tool belt. The challenge is if you go to a bank, right? You go to Chase, you walk in, you say, hey, can I get a bank loan? Oh, what type of bank loan do you want? You want a primary residence, meaning like, are you going to live at the property? Or do you want an investment bank loan? What do you want, Julian? Right? What do you want? Do you want a primary residence or do you want an investment? If you go to them and you tell them, hey, I want an investment bank loan, right, for an investment property that you want to buy on 123 Main Street, the challenge is whatever the market rates are, they're going to give you that market rate. So right now for investment loans in today's market, we're in November right now. We're looking around
Almost December.
Yeah, November, almost December. We're looking around 7.5 to 8% investment rate, right?
Really?
Yes, right. Interest rate.
Is that just
interest
from-
rate? Interest rate.
Okay,
But they're also going to say, hey, okay, no, we'll give you that loan, no problem. But not only are you going to get 8% interest rate, we also want you to bring 20% to 30% down payment of the purchase price. So if it's a $300,000 property, they're going to want typically minimum of 20% down payment, right?
to just get the 8%?
Just to acquire the property. The 8%, you can buy down your rate, but that's another conversation. That is just for you to buy the piece of real estate. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're paying. So not only are you paying not only are you paying a down payment of like 20% to the bank, but then you're also paying like an 8. Or also, the bank's only giving about like an 8% interest rate or depending on how much you.
So the bank wants you to put down. The bank wants you to put down 20%, right? To them for the investment property. The reason why is because the way they look at it is this is an investment loan. This is high risk for us. You go to default on the property, this is not your primary residence. So the likelihood of you defaulting on that property is a lot higher in the bank size. So what happens is with banks, they have a underwriting guideline that they have to follow, right? Everything is black and white. They don't go outside the box, right? Especially the big financial institutions. So what they're going to say is, hey, Julian, we want you to have more skin in the game. You have to put 20% down on this piece of real estate. You have to have more skin in the game. That's not to get the 8% interest rate. That is just saying, hey, look, right now, the market dictates 8% interest rate, so we'll give you the loan for 8%, but we also are going to require you to put 20% down, right? So that 20% has nothing to do with the interest rate that the bank gives you. Now, don't get me wrong, the more money you put down, the better interest rate the bank can give you, but they can only go so far. It's not like you put 50% down, they're going to give you a 2% interest rate. No. It will fluctuate and go down a little bit depending on your credit. There's factors like your credit, how much debt to income ratio do you have, how much, there's different factors that these banks are looking at, right? So not only are they going to say, okay, well, you're going to be 8% interest rate, you're going to put 20% down, they're also going to say, I want your tax returns, I want to run your credit, I want to know your mother's maiden name. They want to know everything, right? Everything. So you're going to give them a lot of information, a lot of documentation. They're going to be all up in your bank statements, dissecting your bank statements. It's very invasive, right?
It sounds like IRS.
So yeah, pretty much. So the cool thing is when you do creative finance, right? When you do a subject to or seller finance, the cool thing about it is you're not subjective to the market interest rates. You're not subjective to putting 20, 30% down. You're not subjective to giving your tax returns or your bank statements or running your credit, any of that stuff. All that stuff, that's bank shit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're working with an owner, like let's say yourself, of a property, and you're wanting to sell or finance it, you now become the bank, and I'm negotiating with you what terms make sense for both of us. Is it a 2%, 3%, 4% interest rate, stuff like that, right?
Versus the bank only making you pay, like,
the
only
bank,
give them a certain
the
percentage.
bank's black again. The bank's very black and white. Everything, they don't go outside of their guidelines. They're gonna say, hey, this is what we have to offer, and that's it. Run away. You either take it or leave it, right? So.
So, December's coming up. It's about to roll in. Do you think that the holidays is going to affect the market value of different specific properties, or do you think that it just depends on the marketing value from here on out? Because I mean, people are concerned about December coming in, and December comes around. They got Black Friday. They got everything going on. So
well, the reality is people aren't focused on purchasing homes in this time of year. It's not like the hot time of year to purchase.
Why is that?
The summertime, when people are not focused on the holidays, or when their kids are out of school, they're able to take more focus, right? Statistically proven, people move and focus on home buying more so in the summertime. But remember, everything I do is on the investment side.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So when you saw this RV park, let's go back to RV park. When you saw this RV park, and you were just thinking about like, okay, there's like so many ideas that you can create and make concepts of for this RV, so that it can create multiple streams of income, multiple streams of revenue. What are the challenges of turning your ideas and then putting them into motion, putting them like breaking brick by brick into the ideas where it can lead to having multiple streams of income?
The biggest challenges are the contractors. So even though we have a vision, we have to be able to hire people that can implement that vision within the park. You see what I'm saying? So hiring reliable contractors is saying to do what they're going to do the right way. That's, I would say, the hardest part. Because we can have the skill set, we can have the know-how, we can have the capital, but we have to now to take that capital and deploy it, hire contractors to make the vision that we want to have. It's kind of like when you build this building that we're sitting in. This building was built with contractors, right? Okay. The person who had the capital, the money, wasn't here swinging hammers, right? They hired a contractor to build this vision for them. Yeah. Same thing with these walls. When this Mecatos café came in here, they had a contractor to do all the decor, the designing, the interior designing, the floors, the build out of this restaurant. You see what I'm saying? So that's the tough part, because if you don't hire the right ones, then they'll delay your project. They'll delay you either sometimes you have to fire these individuals because they can't meet timelines, or they're not saying what they're going to do. All right?
And they gotta go.
They gotta go. So,
right.
Yeah. And for more information, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't, at The Real Javier Paredes, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.